The franchise tag extension deadline has come and gone. While a long-term contract between Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys seemed to make sense for all parties involved, the two sides weren't able to come to terms. Prescott will play out his $31.4 million franchise tag for the 2020 season before we go through all of this again next offseason. The Cowboys will be unable to sign their quarterback to an extension for the remainder of the league year. This decision doesn't impact solely the 26-year-old and his employers. The Prescott news, in fact, affects teams and players around the league both now and in the offseason to come. Let's cover some of those winners and losers in light of Wednesday's news. The most likely scenario for Prescott's 2020 season is that he plays well enough to keep the Cowboys competitive without winning an MVP or the Super Bowl. If that happens, we're going to have all the same debates about Prescott we were having this offseason next year too. Chances are that the people who are skeptical about Prescott now are still going to be skeptical of Prescott 12 months from now. I've already established my stance on this topic, and unless Prescott delivers a disastrous 2020 campaign, it's not going to change. Watson is going to do just fine, but the smartest thing for him to do this offseason was wait for Prescott and Patrick Mahomes to sign extensions before working on his own deal with the Texans. The nature of the 12-year contract Mahomes inked with the Chiefs makes it a difficult comparable for Watson, who reportedly wants to sign a short extension with the Texans. With that in mind, a Prescott deal was likely to set the table and raise the stakes of a Watson extension, as is often the case when we see quarterbacks sign extensions during the same offseason. Last year, Carson Wentz signed a 4-year, $128 million extension with the Eagles in June. 3 months later, Jared Goff's 4-year extension with the Rams came in at $134 million. If Goff had signed his deal first, Wentz's contract likely would have been larger. Prescott had a July 15th deadline because of the franchise tag and Watson did not, so the prudent thing was to wait. With no Prescott contract, Watson will be negotiating off those Goff and Wentz deals for his extension. After adjusting for cap inflation, Goff's deal comes in at 4 years and $141 million, which is $35.3 million per year. Prescott's contract would have likely been around $36 million per season, which might have gotten Watson up to $37.5 million. In his time as Houston's general manager, Bill O'Brien has focused more on signing the players he wants to keep around than getting the best possible price for those guys, so Watson might end up earning that much anyway. But this probably cost Watson a few $1 million. This doesn't do the Cowboys any favors. For one, unless Prescott totally bombs in 2020, his price is only going to increase.